You know that feeling, right? The days get a little longer, the air feels a bit warmer, and you get this primal urge to start planting things. We are wired to connect gardening with spring. But here's a wild thought. Your indoor garden, the one in your kitchen or that set up in the closet, it has absolutely no idea what season it is outside. None.
And that right there, that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions that holds people back. We just can't help but carry our outdoor habits inside, and then we're left scratching our heads when things don't work. We're trying to get our plants to follow a calendar they literally can't even read.
And this is the core of the problem. Pretty much all the advice you'll ever read about gardening is written for a completely different universe. It assumes your plants are getting hit with hours of direct sunlight, feeling the breeze, getting drenched by rain. But inside our homes, we're operating in a totally closed environment. And that changes all the rules.
To really get this, we have to understand what I call the Great Divide. This isn't just about indoor versus outdoor. It's about a much bigger idea. Growing based on climate versus growing based on a system. And believe me, they operate on two completely different sets of laws. Okay, so check this out. Outdoors, you're basically a partner with nature, right? You're reacting to the seasons, to the light, to whatever the weather decides to throw at you. And the soil? The soil is this huge buffer. It holds onto water and nutrients, giving you some wiggle room. But indoors, you're not a partner with the ecosystem. You are the ecosystem. Light isn't something that just happens. It's a programmed cycle you control. Water isn't random rainfall. It's a super precise, timed delivery of all the plant's food. And that safety net, that buffer, it's gone. Your system is incredibly efficient, but it's also hypersensitive. A power outage for a few hours indoors can be a total disaster, while an outdoor plant can tough out a dry spell for days. I just love this quote, a chronobiological architect. I mean, how cool is that? It just perfectly captures the mental shift you have to make. You're not just sticking a seed in some dirt and hoping for the best anymore. You are actively designing your plant's entire perception of time and space. You're engineering its seasons from the ground up. So, how do you become this architect? How do you actually build an artificial season inside four walls? Well, it really boils down to mastering three pillars that completely take over the job of Mother Nature. We're talking about light, water, and air. First up, light. And the crucial thing to get here is that for your indoor plants, light isn't just energy for photosynthesis, it's information. It is the number one signal that tells a plant, hey, it's time to grow leaves, or, okay, now it's time to make flowers. By controlling how long the day is, you're talking directly to your plant's internal biological clock. And this table here just brilliantly shows you the kind of power you have. Want your herbs to get big and bushy? No problem. Give them a long 18-hour day to trick them into thinking it's the peak of summer. Ready for your tomatoes to start making fruit? You create an artificial autumn. You just shorten that day down to 12 hours of light. The plant gets that signal and immediately shifts its energy from growing leaves to making flowers and fruits. It's like you're speaking its language, and the timer on your grow light is your translator. Okay, pillar number 2, water. But we have to think about it in a totally new way. In a soilless system like hydroponics, watering and feeding are the exact same action. That water is actually a nutrient solution. It's a perfectly balanced meal delivered right to the plant's doorstep or, its roots. It's insanely efficient, but it also means your timing is everything. Too little, and the roots dry out in a flash. Too much, and they literally can't breathe. But when you get that timing right, the results are just staggering. I mean, look at these benefits. These systems can use up to 90% less water than soil gardening. They can get growth rates that are 40% faster. Why? It's simple, really. The plant isn't wasting a single bit of energy searching for food and water. It's all just delivered on a silver platter, letting the plant put 100% of its focus into just growing. And that brings us to our third pillar, which is the one that almost everyone forgets: air. Seriously. You can have the most perfect light schedule and the most amazing nutrient solution, but if your air is just sitting there, stagnant, your plants will starve. It's all about a process called transpiration. Think of it like a straw. The plant exhales water from its leaves, and that action pulls more water and nutrients up from the roots. For that engine to work, you have to constantly move that humid air away from the leaves. That little fan you put in your tent, it's not just there for cooling. It's a vital part of your plant's circulatory system. So once you put these three pillars, light, water and air together, you realize you've gone way beyond what we think of as gardening. Your whole role has fundamentally shifted. You're not just a caretaker anymore. You're a designer of a life support system.
We all know the old saying, right? We've all heard that success in the garden is about having some kind of magic green thumb, this intuitive knack, and of course, following the seasons. And you know what? Outdoors, there's a lot of truth to that. Intuition and experience go a long way.
But indoors, all that goes right out the window. The real thing that determines whether you succeed or fail isn't luck or intuition, it's engineering. It's all about how well you design and manage the structure that gives your plant everything it needs to thrive, completely cut off from the outside world.
So start thinking of yourself this way. You're not a weather watcher anymore, you are a climate creator. Your success isn't about working harder, it's about building a smarter system. You are the architect of a perpetual, perfect microseason that can happen anytime, any day of the year.
And this all leads to a really, really exciting final thought. Once you truly get it, that you're not tied to the calendar, that you can create a perfect summer day in the dead of winter or a cool autumn evening in the middle of July, all the limits just fall away. The question is no longer, what can I grow right now? It's, what do I want to grow next?
So this has all been about the why. If you're now curious about the how and you want that practical breakdown, there's a written guide that walks through all the details nice and clearly.